Hey everyone, welcome to 59 Tops Friday presented by Wax Pack Wisdom, where we talk baseball history through the cards we love. My name is Jake T. O'Donnell. We built the iconic 1959 Topps baseball set, and in this series, we're going through every card to talk about the players, teams, and people who made up Major League Baseball in 1959. Today, we'll cover cards 410 through 416 in the set. Card 410 belongs to Billy Pierce of the Chicago White Sox. 1959 was his 13th MLB season. The Detroit native signed with his hometown Tigers as a teenager and debuted with the club as an 18-year-old in 1945. The lefty hurler was impressive in his 5 games, giving up just 2 runs in 10 innings pitched. But with older players returning from the war, Pierce would spend the next 2 seasons in the minors. He returned to the Tigers in 1948, working mostly out of the bullpen. Just after the season, he was dealt to the White Sox, and under the tutelage of Paul Richards, Pierce would become one of the best pitchers of the 1950s. He made his first AL All-Star team in 1953 and led the AL in strikeouts. His best season was likely 1955, when he led the league in ERA at 1.97 in 205 and 2/3 innings pitched. Pierce had back-to-back 20-win seasons in 1956 and 1957. In 1958, Pierce almost became the first left-handed pitcher in MLB history to throw a perfect game when he retired the first 26 Senators he faced on June 27th, but pinch hitter Ed Fitzgerald broke it up with a double. Pierce was again an All-Star in 1959 and helped the White Sox make it to the World Series with a 3.62 ERA. However, manager Al Lopez elected to use him in bullpen duty in the series, and he threw 4 scoreless innings in relief despite the series loss to the Dodgers. Pierce made the last of his 6 All-Star teams for the White Sox in 1961. After that season, he was traded to the Giants. There, Pierce was once again a key cog for a pennant-winning club, winning 16 games and finishing 3rd in NL Cy Young voting in 1962. He pitched well in both the National League pennant playoff against the Dodgers and then the World Series against the Yankees, throwing a complete Game 3 hitter in Game 6, but his team again lost the series. Pierce pitched 2 more years before calling it a career after 18 seasons. He spent much of his retirement from baseball working in sales and public relations for an envelope company, and in 2007, the White Sox unveiled a bronze statue of Pierce in the center field concourse of their stadium. He died in 2015. Card number 411 belongs to Whitey Lockman of the Baltimore Orioles. 1959 was Lockman's 14th year in the big leagues. Lockman was a first baseman and outfielder who spread his 15 years in the big leagues between the Giants, Cardinals, Orioles, and Reds. Lockman signed with the Giants in 1945, making his major league debut the same year. He had a home run in his first at-bat just prior to his 19th birthday, becoming the youngest to do so in MLB history at the time. The record was broken by Jason Dominguez in 2023. Lockman was named to the 1952 All-Star team. He was the starting first baseman, and the game was called off after 5 innings due to rain. He was also a member of the 1954 World Champion Giants. In 1956, he was traded to the Cardinals briefly before being sent back to the Giants after the 1956 season, where he was a member of the Giants' last New York team and first San Francisco team. Lockman would end his career with a .279 batting average, 114 home runs, and 563 RBI. Immediately following his playing career, he joined the Reds coaching staff. Lockman then worked as a third base coach for the Giants before working for the Cubs in the minor leagues, a big league coach, and then in player development. Lockman was the manager for the Cubs from 1972 to 1974, earning a record of 157 wins and 162 losses. Lockman died in 2009 at the age of 82. Card number 412 belongs to Stan Lopata of the Philadelphia Phillies. 1959 was Lopata's 12th year in the big leagues. Lopata was a catcher who spread his time in the majors between the Phillies and Braves. Prior to his professional baseball career, Lopata went into the Army in 1943, and he served in the 14th Armored Division in Europe, seeing heavy action. He was awarded the Bronze Star and the Purple Heart before his discharge in 1945. Lopata made his major league debut in 1948 with the Phillies, where he would remain until 1959. He was the first National League catcher to wear glasses in the position. Lopata played for the Phillies sporadically, at times with inconsistent performance during his playing time, but would change in 1954 when he re-signed with the Phillies. Thanks to an update in his batting stance, he had 10 hits in the first 22 at-bats of that season. In June 1954, Lopata hit .396 with 2 home runs and 10 RBI in 53 at-bats. Some pitchers and managers tried to argue that his very low batting stance was illegal, but to no avail. In 1954, during a game against the Cardinals, both Lopata and Cardinals catcher Bill Sarney played without chest protectors due to intense heat. Lopata was a two-time All-Star in 1955 and 1956. Following his baseball career, Lopata worked in a steel plant as a salesman for IBM and for a concrete company. In 1988, Lopata was inducted into the Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame, and in 1997, he was inducted into the National Polish American Sports Hall of Fame. Lopata died in 2013 at the age of 87. Card number 413 belongs to Camillo Pascual of the Washington Senators. 1959 was Pascual's sixth year in the big leagues. Pascual was a right-handed pitcher who spread his 18-year professional career between the Senators, both the original and expansion version, Twins, Reds, Dodgers, and Indians. His nicknames are Camille and Little Potato. Pascual was born in Cuba and came to the United States when he was 17 years old to pursue a baseball career. After multiple years playing for various minor league teams, Pascual made his major league debut for the original Washington Senators in 1954. Pascual was a seven-time All-Star, and his best pitches were the fastball and curveball. Pascual's curveball was ranked in the top 10 all-time, which is why Ted Williams called it the most feared curveball in the American League for 18 years. 1959 through 1964 are considered to be Pascual's peak years. During those seasons, he won at least 12 games each year. He was the AL strikeout leader from 1961 through 1963. In 1963, Pascual had a 21-9 win-loss record with a 2.46 ERA. He ended his career with a 174 and 171 loss record, a 3.36 ERA, and over 1,100 career strikeouts. As of 2025, Pascual is 71st on the all-time strikeout list. His honors include induction into the Cuban Baseball Hall of Fame in 1983, induction into the first class of the Caribbean Baseball Hall of Fame in 1996, election into the inaugural class of the Latino Baseball Hall of Fame in 2010, and the Twins Hall of Fame in 2012. In 2020, The Athletic ranked Pascual's 1963 season as the third best by a right-handed pitcher in Twins history, and his 1962 season as the eighth best. Following his playing career, Pascual worked as a pitching coach and then scout for multiple major league teams, including international scouting, until he retired at the age of 80. As of this recording, on January 23, 2025, Pascual recently turned 91 years old. He will turn 92 on January 20th, 2026. We wish a happy belated birthday to Camillo Pascual. Card number 414 belongs to Dale Long of the Chicago Cubs. 1959 was his sixth season in MLB. Long was a power-hitting first baseman who spread his 10 MLB seasons with the Pirates, Browns, Cubs, Giants, Yankees, and Senators, making the NL All-Star team in 1956 and winning the 1962 World Series as a backup with the Yankees. But today, he is remembered best for two unique accomplishments. First, Long set the MLB record for most consecutive games with a home run in 1956 when he smacked round-trippers in 8 consecutive games between May 19th and May 28th, a mark that has since been matched only twice. And second, Long became the first left-handed thrower to appear in an MLB game at catcher in over 50 years when he played in 2 games at the position during the 1957 season. Long ended his career with 132 homers and 467 runs batted in and batted .267 in 10 big league seasons. He also hit 166 homers in the minors. Long worked several jobs related to baseball after his playing career, including as a minor league umpire and working as a field representative for the National Association, then the governing body of the minor leagues. He died in 1994. Card number 415 belongs to Bill Mazeroski of the Pittsburgh Pirates. 1959 was his 4th MLB season. For a player whose calling card was legendarily outstanding second base defense, Mazeroski, who cleared 15 homers in a season only twice in a 17-year career, is best remembered for living out the dream of every kid who ever picked up a bat. Mazeroski hit a game-winning walk-off home run to win the 7th game of the World Series. Mazeroski grew up in coal country in Ohio and was offered basketball scholarships but chose to play baseball after high school and signed with Pittsburgh, moving to second base from shortstop at the direction of general manager Branch Rickey. Mazeroski made his MLB debut at age 19 and took over as the Pirates' everyday second baseman in 1957. He made his first National League All-Star team in 1958 and won the first of 8 Gold Gloves for his prowess in the field, and made both All-Star teams in 1959 and 1960. The Bucks won the pennant in 1960 and faced the vaunted Yankees in the Fall Classic. The series was a back-and-forth battle culminating in Game 7 at Forbes Field. In a wild game, the Pirates had a chance to win the series up 2 runs in the 9th inning but coughed up the lead. Mazeroski would lead off the bottom of the 9th in a tied contest against Ralph Terry. On the second pitch of the at-bat, Mazeroski pulled a Terry fastball over the left field fence for a World Series winning home run. The first of only 2 times in MLB history the series would end on a home run, and the only time it has ever happened in a Game 7. Mazeroski continued his marvelous career in the afterglow of the home run, known primarily for his defense and his ability to turn double plays behind Pittsburgh pitching. Bill James has called his defensive statistics the most impressive of any player at any position. In total, Mazeroski made 10 NL All-Star teams. His playing time dropped off in the 1970s, and he only had 1 at-bat in the Pirates' 1971 World Series win over the Orioles. The next year would be his last in MLB, and he had brief stints as an MLB coach with the Pirates and Mariners. Mazeroski was never elected to the Hall of Fame by the baseball writers, but in 2001 he was elected by the Veterans Committee. In a short speech at the Cooperstown ceremony where Mazeroski was notably overcome with emotion, he said in part, quote, "I think defense belongs in the Hall of Fame. Defense deserves as much credit as pitching, and I'm proud to be going in as a defensive player," close quote. As of this recording, Mazeroski is 88 years old, and he will turn 89 in September of 2025. Card number 416 belongs to Haywood Sullivan of the Boston Red Sox. 1959 was his 3rd MLB season. Sullivan was born in Georgia and was signed as an amateur catcher by the Red Sox ahead of 1952, but missed 2 seasons serving in the military during the Korean War. Sullivan spent time in the minors and missed time with injury over the following few years, and through 1959, he had only appeared in 8 major league games. The Red Sox gave him more of a chance with 52 games played in 1960, albeit with just a .161 batting average. After he was selected by the new Washington Senators in the 1960 expansion draft, Sullivan was traded to the Athletics. He played parts of 3 seasons there and then took a job managing in their minor league system. Sullivan was given a chance to manage the A's in 1965 and led them to a 54-82 record during his time there. He left after the season and returned to the Red Sox for a front office role. Sullivan would remain with the team for decades in various roles and served as general manager from 1978 through 1984. Sullivan was also a minority owner until selling his interest in the team in 1993. He was in real estate development until his death in 2003. Sullivan is the owner of one of the more peculiar error variations in the 1959 Topps set. Topps issued 3 different Sullivan cards, all with different copyrights on the back. One is missing the circle around the C and the period after A in USA. One is missing just the circle over the C, and one is corrected entirely. That's going to do it for this edition of 59 Topps Friday on Wax Pack Wisdom. Today's episode was written by Abby O'Donnell and Jake T. O'Donnell. Do you have a story about one of the people, players, or teams we discussed today? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our Wax Pack Wisdom content. In the video description, you will find our source material for this episode, links to where you can follow us on all social media channels, as well as a list of our favorite nonprofits and charities. Please consider a donation to one of them if you enjoyed this content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Wax Pack Wisdom. Take care.